What's going on, y'all? KM Best here, your favorite 69th ranked Marvel snapper, and I think one deck that has been shining for me in the post-nerf metagame is Sera Control. This is the deck that I have been playing. I have a very significantly pretty high cube rate with this and a solid win rate with this, but it's definitely a deck that leverages tech and lack of understanding of what you're doing to get a cube rate that is significantly higher than what it would be with a normal win rate in a different deck. That said, I'm still above 60% win rate with this, so hey, I can't really complain. This has been a successful list for me due to having so many answers to all the things that people are trying out early in the metagame. Typically, early metagame tends to favor decks that are going a little bit more aggressive towards doing something broken. And what that means is that if you can level 1 that, level 0 being let's play something broken, level 1 being let's play something that beats the stuff that's broken, that's pretty much this deck. We have all the answers to all the linear stuff that everyone is trying to put out into the game right now. Someone is experimenting with Move Dagger. Well, we have Shadow King, Shang-Chi, and Killmonger, all of which are phenomenal against that deck. People are playing something like, Phoenix Force. Well, you can Shadow King that Phoenix Force, take 3 power off of it. You can do so much with this deck to counter all of the weird combo decks that are running around right now. Let's say Living Tribunal. You have Mobius, you have Enchantress, you have everything you need, even a Legion to get rid of the magic. You have that for She-Hulk games as well. You basically have everything you need to deal with all the weird stuff people are trying to throw at you right now. And that's an important thing to be cognizant of, even in more general matchups, things like Thanos, right? Well, their Blob is a lot worse into your Shadow King now. They still rely on the stones a decent amount of the time, and you can Killmonger that. And your Shang-Chi is actually better than other Shang-Chis in that matchup because you can Enchantress their Kyera. So there's a lot going on that just gives you all of these options in all of these matchups and makes this deck an exciting choice, in my opinion, and one that I've had a lot of success with in High Infinite. I also wanted to shout out W Snaps. He is a friend of mine who is playing a bit of a different list. This is my take on his list. If you want to play his exact list, what he was doing was he cut Miss Marvel for Werewolf by Night, and then he cut Jeff for Medusa. I think that those are bad changes. I think Miss Marvel is phenomenal, but I do think that what he's building towards is something that is credible, and that is one of the things that I really miss in my list is I wish I had a good 4 that I could curve out off of a Zabu, and Iron Lad is an attempt to give you that. Now, there are some potential big downsides in playing Iron Lad in a Maximus and a Gladiator deck. I totally understand that. It's not for everyone, but this is a more high roll oriented, you clone the Doctor Doom kind of build. For the record, I know W said that he got better results when playing with Werewolf by Night instead of Miss Marvel. I think it is actually criminal to cut Miss Marvel from your Doctor Doom Iron Lad deck. Just don't do it. But the big reason that I haven't made these changes specifically is I really like having Legion in my deck. When you play this deck, you have answers to pretty much everything except magic. And I think having that answer to magic is really, really important, especially when it comes attached to a card that will win you other games as well. That's the major reason why I haven't gone towards his Doom style of this deck. I do think it's worth talking about, but I do think what I am playing is my preferred build for a reason. Despite getting a significant buff, Shadow King is still probably the weakest tech card in this entire deck, which is good because if he was the strongest, it would be quite imbalanced as a 2-cost card. Shadow King is really on Blob duty now. He just instantly nukes any Blob your opponent plays. That's really what he's doing probably 95% of the time in this deck. And so if you're not seeing a lot of Blobs, it's actually totally fine to cut this guy, I think. The rest of what he does, like, I'm not seeing a lot of Werewolf, but he will answer that, I guess. And I'm not seeing a lot of the other early scalers because why would you play them? So really, he's just on Blob cleanup duty, which is an important role for a card to have. But most of the time, he's only going to be doing that. He's got some utility against Destroy, nuking some of your, like, Venoms or whatever. But, like, it's not amazing. This is definitely a spot you can play around with. I still run him, though, because I think the ethos of these Sera decks is I want to have answers to everything. And if you didn't have Shadow King in here, you are kind of cold to Blob Kyera, and he answers that situation specifically. Zabu might honestly be the best damn card in the entire game. You'll notice that the shell of this deck with the Zabu and the tech cards and the Miss Marvel and all of that is honestly very similar to the same shell I play in Loki. This is the backbone of many decks in this style. Zabu is the key card to make that work. He is excellent, and he is even better when combined with a Sera for even more discounts and even more surprise power on the final turn of the game. Be aware, however, you do have some significant weakness to Mobius if you are relying on a Zabu Sera game plan. He's not overly common right now, but the more common he gets, the more we want to think about putting Rogue in the deck to protect our stuff from getting Mobiused. Jeff is a little too good not to run with current Miss Marvel. There are many ways in which you can mess up your Miss Marvel now, and not having 2 units is actually one of them. Making sure you get that second unit is what Jeff is doing here. He fixes mistakes by making them never happen in the first place, going to wherever you need him to go. And that is the main reason why we're running Jeff instead of, say, Lizard or something with more power. It's specifically because Miss Marvel now requires you to get your lanes a little bit more even. The one risk Jeff has is we do run 4 2-drops, and that does mean that sometimes you're going to be looking at 2 2s in a lane and there's not much you can do about it. And Jeff does not solve those situations, but he does solve enough of them that I think he's a valuable piece to put in this deck. Another thing that is a little bit ancillary to why Jeff is good, but when you play Legion, there are often scams that you have access to that involve locking the board down in such a way that Jeff is the only card that can be played. And I think that little backup synergy is another reason why I like Jeff in here. Obviously, it's not the primary reason, just consider that he is kind of the only card that you ever want to see when you're pulling off one of those, like, Legion scams. Maximus is in here on the grounds that he is a 2/6, which is extremely good, and then when you play Sera, he is a 1/6, which is much, much better, and you really only play him on the final turn of the game or when your opponent's hands are full anyway, so he basically exists to just be 6 points that you can distribute willy-nilly wherever you want. He's a great card for that role, and I think there are very few legit replacements for him because 6 points is a lot more than 5 points. It is significantly more than 5 points. You could argue it's 20% more than 5 points. That's a lot. And I think that it is worth accepting the downside of him not being very good to play early because you have other cards that are actually good to play early, like Zabu, like Jeff, and you just sort of hold him until later in the game when it's not so much of an issue. Killmonger is great right now. There are still people trying to play the move deck with Human Torch. There are people trying to play Zoo decks with the Khazar bundle. There are people trying to play bounce decks. Killmonger deals with all of them. He is a great card here, and that isn't even mentioning that he's very good into Thanos. However, Thanos often plays Kyera, so you do have to think about, can I Enchantress the Kyera? When are they playing the Kyera? How am I going to deal with this Kyera? And you can't always just play Killmonger in that matchup because you are very often going to be behind on priority, meaning if they Kyera your Killmonger turn, you're in a bad spot. But all of that said, he's obviously still a very good card with Thanos matchups too. Like, it's not like he's bad or anything like that. Just, he's a little less good against Thanos than he was before Kyera came out. This guy is kind of the bane of my existence, and I think that people are going to be like, okay, I don't have Gladiator, what can I replace him with? And the answer is, you cannot replace him with another card in his role. You just have to say, I'm not going to have the Gladiator, I need to find other ways to win. And that means, to me, you're going to play something like Rogue, you're going to play something like Cosmo. There's no real stat stick that gets big enough. Even Bishop is not really in the range. If you want a stat stick replacement, I think the best you can do is Polaris, who is quite mid compared to Gladiator, although she will never lose you the game. And then I think you end up just wanting to add another tool to your arsenal in the absence of having Gladiator. You play Cosmo, you play Rogue, you pick whichever one makes more sense for the stuff you see. It's not the greatest thing. I especially don't love playing Cosmo in this deck because of just how, like, how reliant you are on your own cards actually having on reveal abilities. I genuinely just don't like it, but it is okay, I guess. Shang-Chi is almost the reason this kind of deck exists. It is a deck that does not go very tall itself. It uses cards like Shang-Chi to drag other decks down to its level and hopefully disrupt what they are trying to do. Obviously, Shang-Chi blowing something up is one of the best possible plays you can make. There is a reason why Shang-Chi is the most played card post-Infinite in the entire game. This deck is not even necessarily why that is. Shang-Chi's so good everywhere else, he's better here. This is a great Shang deck. Miss Marvel is probably still one of the strongest cards in the entire game right now. I consider her a relatively easy card to manage, but there are going to be games where you do not get the full value out of her, and you do have to acknowledge that she has become significantly weaker. That said, the games where you do are 100% worth it, and they are still far more common than her fail states. Miss Marvel is a freaking 414. That should be obvious why we're playing it. This is a deck that I was worried would disappear if Miss Marvel got nerfed severely. She did not get nerfed severely enough to force this deck out of the metagame. Playing her for 2 energy alongside, I don't know, an Enchantress and a Shang-Chi on the final turn of the game is disgusting, absolutely heinous, completely gross. I've got more words if you want. It's super messed up. This is effectively a Doctor Doom that you sometimes get to play for 2 energy. She owns. Sera is an extremely strong card, but one that I feel like has never actually been at the top of the metagame. And this is a first for me, thinking that like this might actually be one of the best decks in the game. I do wonder how much of it is taking advantage of an unrefined early metagame. But right now, just having all the answers and being able to deal with all the questions your opponent's decks are asking has felt very good for me. And Sera enables you to answer multiple things on the final turn of the game very easily. This is a strong card, but I don't want you to feel like she's like the best card in the game. She's solid, and this is a deck that is built around her, but I don't think she's the reason this works. This shell also works in Loki. This shell probably also works in Black Knight. Like, the shell of tech cards, Zabu, Miss Marvel, Gladiator, some good stats, that's a good thing to be doing. And I think that that backbone is what enables Sera to succeed rather than the other way around. She's not making it good, it's making her good. I'm addicted to Legion again. I love this guy. He lets me do so much stupid stuff. Like, he is a card that I will fully admit my bias for, because I think there's a thing where the more possibilities you can see with the guy, the better he is for you. I love him. He is obviously on a base level, he is your answer to decks that like to play Magic. He is your answer to bad locations. He gets you out of these weird RNG based losses that would otherwise be unwinnable. But more than just taking you from unwinnable situations to winnable ones, he converts opponents' winnable situations into unwinnable ones. Like, a bunch of squirrels are suddenly everywhere, or they can't play any cards in those locations anymore, or suddenly all the ongoing abilities in the game are turned off. Like, there are a bunch of different ways that he can influence the game. I love this guy. I do think there is a bit of bias entering here, because I feel so good when I play him, and then when I don't play him, he doesn't, like, I only remember playing him and winning because I don't play him when he loses. And so there's a little bit of personal bias entering the equation here. That said, he is the main thing I wanted to keep rather than moving to W's build of the deck. I think the other things W was doing, I'm into, but having to play an additional 5, an additional 6, like, I don't think this deck can support Sera, Legion, Doom. And I am worried about that. And I prefer having Legion. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for making it to this portion of the video. We're about to jump into some gameplay from High Infinite. I will warn you, I picked up this deck after tilting away like 50 points, and I got like 75 back with this deck. I'm definitely into it, but I will say there's probably going to be some games at the beginning where I'm just like, oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Because that's what happens when you tilt away 50 points playing Destroy. I'm glad you bore with me through that. Thank you so much. As always, I've been Cam Best. Remember to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Okay, that's bad. Just a solid 0 places to play any of my cards. That's super dope. Okay, I gotta admit, I kind of like that magic because it gives me some place to go. What are they playing, though? What is Iceman Okoye magic? What is this? Cosmo. All right. Ha! Okay, for real, though, what is this? Kyra turns into something else. Oh, they beast. Okay. Is this She-Not? Yeah, it is. They snap me. Okay. So the way I'm thinking about this is, can I ever Legion scam this? Hold on. Can I get some mods to ban those people? All right, we're going for 8. Let's go. Wait, no, I did my Maximus wrong. Oh, fuck. Well, let's figure out if it works. I'm about to die, I think. Oh, fuck. Are you serious? I died. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. sad. Woo! How do I fit Doom Lad into here? It involves cutting Legion, probably. I don't want to cut Legion because Legion is awesome. Sad. Oh, hell yeah. That's actually probably quite solid for me. Now, I could still Omega lose this Legion roll, and probably will. Or this Gladiator roll. Get him, Quake! Quake was like, well, damn, yeah. It's a solid post-Sera turn, though. Like, we got a Killmonger, Shadow King, Maximus kind of deal that we can play at. It's not the end of the world. They snap me. It's pretty interesting. I'm willing to play it because almost all of my draws are good. I don't know if Killmonger auto wins, right? The issue is, like, where they play. I don't know how to make Killmonger auto win, actually. Yes! Killmonger auto wins. I was afraid of specifically Ghost Rider. I thought they were always playing right, too, Big Baby. I was afraid of, but they just didn't have Ghost Rider, and that's the way he auto wins, right? The specific thing we have to think about here is the existence of the card Ghost Rider, right? Because that's the one that puts 2 units on. They're always playing this guy somewhere, so going 3-3 here is what makes sense. But I thought what they would do is Ghost Rider over here. That was my read. I was like, oh, they'll Ghost Rider on the right lane because that's the one that puts the most units on. But they were just like, I can't compete for that lane, which actually sort of looped back around to being correct. Right on time, Killmonger. Just 1 game too late, buddy. Just 1 game too late, buddy. Shame. Are we ever Legion Rickety Bridge gamers? Okay. I'm taking that to mean you are opening the stream right now. I don't think so, Gax. I do not believe so. I do have an overlay for T6, but it's more just like that is a common thing that happens in these contexts. Alright, you probably don't have 1-drops. Probably not a 1-drop deck. Yes, I would still play that Loki list. Fascinating. Sure is 2 wolves. Inside of you, there are 2 wolves. Invoke twice to give them +4/+4. Yeah. Gotta put it up there. Sorry. Sorry about it, chat. So this is the play they made. And I am losing a tiebreaker. No, I'm winning a tiebreaker by 1. Holy shit. Woohoo, baby. And it's like, all right, well, I guess I did beat the Doom, so there you go. I did, in fact, beat the Doom. I did not do math for it, so I won't even pretend that I did. But going for the Legion play there. Best Gladiator replacement? I mean, answer's probably Bishop, Polaris, something like that. Rogue, Cosmo. Like you just play something different, right? You got a fucking claw? You got a fucking claw? What are you? What are you? They got a claw? A claw? That is crazy. I want the extra turn here, I think. Okay, sure. You know, thinking about it, this should be. Yeah, okay. We're good. We're good. Namor just casually holding it down here, by the way. Beating pool 1 with pool 1. Yeah, time to cut Gladiator for Namor. Namor costs fucking. Dude, if Namor costs 3, hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Let's go. Nico Minoru. If only I had the Mobius that's in my deck. That's crazy. If only I had the card Mobius that's sitting in my deck. He's snapping me? Dog, that's illegal. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's illegal. Probably has Enchantress. I think it's just one of those I'm making a very large guy plays. Like, he just... I actually probably shouldn't have played the Gladiator. If only I had the card Mobius. As is, I'm fairly certain I'm dead. Because he just makes a bunch of guys and sends them back to hand. Okay. So, am I dead? Am I dead? Yeah, I don't know. Let's find out. Tiebreaker win? Oh my god, we did it! If they were watching or not, there's someone that I've thought has been watching in the past. But, you know. No proof. Shadow King, by the way, when we needed him that entire time, showing up at the end. Classic Shadow King. Oh, man. Oh, man. Fucking MODOK. Wait, I get the apocalypse. Okay, I mean, that's not nothing. And give me your shit, I guess. Huh. So I gave them Shang, Mobius, Shadow King. I gave them Shang, Mobius, Shadow King, right? And Sera, yeah. did it from that because we end up in a spot where we die to a nihilist too much. That was OT? No, he did the easy cooking. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate thinking about Eliath Brain. I'm refunding myself. Whoa, you're not allowed to do that. That's illegal, dude. You're not allowed to refund yourself. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's so... Whoa, wait. I should have put the Zabu on Strange Academy. I should have put the Zabu on Strange Academy. Because I want it to go into the Sanctum Sanctorum, so I don't instantly lose if they annihilate me. Holy shit. What's happening? What's happening here? Oi. Oi. I disliked that. Oh, I liked that. Do we think they have Kyera? I guess if they do, we can go for Enchantress Killmonger, right? I think we snap it. They don't draw a card next turn. They have seen every card in their deck. So if they have Kyera, they have Kyera. And we just have to see if it can get to a spot where we can beat it. My god. So this does a lot for me, I think. You think they have Cosmo? Are they a Cosmo gamer? Should win that, yeah. Isn't Shang Shadow King better here? On the left? Location batching real. Confirmed location batching real. The realist and illest. Yo, Ashtree Dweller with a gift sub. Thank you. Thank you for the gift sub to Mike in 4K. Have you heard of the game Sakhan? Go on. Suck on these nuts. All right, is he cooking? Is he cooking? Is he cooking? Chat, do I ever go like gladiator here? I don't think I do. If you know the punchline instantly, it's not a good one, I think. That's probably true. I was thinking about ripping that gladiator. They're snapping me. What do they know? Do they have the card Cosmo is kind of the only actual conversation we have to have here. If they do, we die. Holy shit. Boy, that's some shit you hate to see. I was like, look, there's no way they don't have a Cosmo here, right? Like, there's no fucking way they